Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mostly from Scratch. Today, I am your host, Professor Munchies. As you can see, I've got my smock on, so that means it's time to do some experimenting in the kitchen. Now, a while back, a couple episodes back, I had mentioned that I wanted to do some experimenting with different types of flour. So today, I'm going to experiment with cake flour. Now, it's not going to be nothing wild, but we'll get to that in a second. This is my basic cake recipe right here. Hopefully that's in focus. It's just a basic cake recipe, and what I'm going to do is substitute one of the ingredients. Now let's go over our ingredient list. I have 1 cup of cake flour. I have 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 6 tablespoons of butter that are soft, 3/4 cup white sugar, 1 egg. It's about room temperature now. And instead of using 3/4 of a cup of milk, what I'm going to be using is French vanilla creamer. So that's where we're going to change things up. And typically at this point is where I would add some kind of flavoring, vanilla extract or something like that. But I'm going to leave that out because the creamer has a pretty strong vanilla taste. So one, I want to see how the finished product tastes with the vanilla in it. And two, considering that it's non-dairy and it doesn't have any fat in it, the only fat we're going to be using is the butter, which I don't think 1/3 of a cup of milk is really adding that much fat to it, but it may make a difference. So let's get into assembling our cake. First thing we're going to do, excuse me, is sift our first 3 dry ingredients together. It's our flour, our salt, and our powder. We'll run those through the sifter a couple times. And you basically sift your cake flour just to make sure, for one, there's no lumps, and two, that you've got all your dry ingredients incorporated together. So I'm going to dump that in that bowl. And then run it through the sifter again. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to just get this back in this smaller bowl here. Okay, we've got our dry ingredients sifted together. Let's set that to the side. Now we're going to cream our butter and sugar together. We're going to put our sugar in first. Get our softened butter in there. And then cream this together. I'll show you what this looks like. Creamed butter. Focus? There we go. Just kind of looks like scrambled eggs. So I'm just going to give this a little bit more whip to it. I didn't even think about the noise on the microphone. Hope that wasn't too loud. Okay, so we've got our sugar and our buttercream together. So nice and smooth this looks. Okay. Now, what we need to do is add our egg and our excuse me, our egg and our creamer together and get that whipped up. So we're going to add our creamer. And our egg. Make sure we don't have any shell in there, like that. Give this a mix. I'll stand back so it doesn't pick up so much of the blender. Okay. And that's what that should look like. All right, now we're going to incorporate our dry ingredients, our cake flour, salt, and baking powder. Go ahead and scrape our sides down. And then we're just going to blend this on a medium, excuse me, for about 30 seconds. Here, cover up the mic. Looks like it's still picking it up. All right, don't want to work that too much. Don't want to get those glutens too stretched out. All right, can we see that? Here we have our cake batter. And I can smell the vanilla creamer in that. It smells really good. I know, raw egg. Hadn't killed me yet though. Amazingly, it tastes like vanilla buttercream frosting. Yeah, oh, I think this is gonna come out good. Okay, get my pan ready. I've got this greased. I forgot to flour it. You know, I always try to be prepared before I start the video, but sometimes it just gets away from you. There's some flour in there. Get that worked around. Let me dump out my excess here. Okay, there we go. Greased and floured. Get our batter in here. Now my oven is set at 340 degrees, and this will go in for approximately 45 minutes. I'll probably check it somewhere around the 40-minute mark, somewhere between 35 and 40 minutes. Stick a toothpick in it, see how it's coming along. Wow, this smells real good. Let's get this spread out a little bit. Using the fingers. My hands are clean. Besides, I'm probably going to be the only one eating this anyway. Yeah, that is really good. Come on, settle down. This is a thick batter. It won't it won't settle into the pan. All right, I think that's good enough. Okay, so it's going into the oven. I'm going to let it go for, like I said, anywhere from 40 to 45 minutes. Pull it out and see what we got. All right, set my timer. There you go. I'm going to start it at 40 minutes. All right, so it's going to take me 40 minutes, but it's only going to take you... Okay, I'm back. It's been 40 minutes and the cake is done. I just pulled this out of the oven, so let me get my oven glove on here and let's take a look at that. It's nice color. It's cooked all the way through. It smells really great. I mean, you can smell the creamer. Yeah. Probably about 15 minutes into the cooking process, I could start to smell the creamer. So it's done. I'm going to let it cool for probably about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so. Open it up, give it a cut, give it a taste, and see what we came up with. So hang in there, and I will be right back. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. I let this cool off, so what do you say we cut into it? Let's take a look at it first. Now, it doesn't look like the creamer affected how it raised up. I mean, it still feels pretty spongy. It's got a nice color to it. It smells really good too. All right, so let me grab a knife and we're going to cut into this and see what kind of results we get. All right, let's get a close-up of this. It's pretty spongy. It's got a good bounce to it. Spring, I should say. It smells, yeah, it smells really good. I hope it's going to taste as good as it smells. All right, so let's give this a try. Wow. I'm surprised. Man, that tastes really good. You can definitely taste the vanilla in there from the creamer. The texture is fine. I guess between the milk and the creamer, the milk really doesn't do much to it. Like I said, I guess all your fat, well, I know all your fat is coming from your butter, but this is really good. And having done this, you know, they've probably got 1,000 different flavors of creamer out there that you could try this with. Everything from French vanilla to pumpkin spice to, you know, Christmas time they come out with the peppermint. They've got chocolate ones, gingerbread. So you could flavor your cakes with these creamers instead of trying to find concentrated flavors. I may do this again and add just a little bit of vanilla extract to it and see what that does. But even without it, this is really good. Yeah, It almost has the texture of a pound cake. A little bit denser than, say, for instance, like a box cake. But once again, I don't think that's because of the creamer. Because typically when you make a real cake, not a box cake, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. Using cake flour, you get a totally different product. But it's good. It's cool. I'm real happy with that. Okay, so if you want to give this a try, go ahead and do it. And let me know what your results are. Or if you try a different type of creamer, I'd really like to know how it comes out. I just don't want to spend a lot of money on creamers that I'm not going to use. So if you do it, let me know. Make a video on it, post it, because that'd be cool. If you dig this, please give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet, because I'm going to do a lot of stuff like this, along with my regular recipes, because I like to experiment. And if you're watching this on Facebook, if you could become a YouTube subscriber as well, that would help me out a lot. To my YouTube subscribers that I already have, guys, thanks a lot. You're helping my channel a whole lot. All right, so that'll do it for another episode of Mostly from Scratch. I am your host, Mr. Munchies. So everybody, plate up and chow down.